they just released an interesting interview with one of the producers for the upcoming game Bleach Rebirth of Souls, Kazuaki Tezuki, and we got some new details on the character roster and future DLC plans. Some of it makes sense, some of it is a complete mess, and some of it just feels like a bunch of excuses. So let's break it down. First off, we know that this game will only cover up to the end of the Arrancar arc. That means there are no plans to include the Fullbring arc or the 1000-Year Blood War arc in the base game. Now, the developers did say they might cover those arcs in the future, but for now nothing's planned, which is okay, fine, I get it. But then they announced the first 4 DLC characters, and guess what? They're from the 1000-Year Blood War arc. So let me get this straight. The base game won't include characters from the 1000-Year Blood War arc because it doesn't go that far into the story, but the DLC will? If that's the case, then why not start adding characters from the part of the story that's actually in the game? If we have to wait for Rebirth of Souls 2 to play as certain characters or interact with later story arcs, then what's the point of even adding the 1000-Year Blood War arc characters now? Either commit to one approach or don't do anything.
Never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass 1 thing.
And it doesn't stop there. No announcement has been made about filler arcs or movie characters either, which sure, maybe they're holding off on that for later DLC, but at this rate, it's hard to say what the plan is. They also mentioned that the game is meant to introduce new fans to Bleach without them needing to watch all 366 episodes of the original anime. But if we're counting all 366 episodes, then that includes fillers too. So are filler characters on the table or not? They need to be clear about what they're doing here. Now let's talk about the real controversy, the absence of Orhime and Jushiro. According to the developers, they believe that they covered most of the iconic characters, but when it comes to Orhime and Jushiro, they said, I believe we have covered most of the iconic characters in the game. However, Jushiro and Orhime are also popular characters, but their abilities remain hidden until the 1000-Year Blood War arc. Additionally, when considering the concept of battle and reversal, it was a bit difficult to implement their fighting style into the game. Let's break that down. First of all, the article itself states that Aizen is more of a defensive-oriented fighter, so why can't Orihime work the same way? Her abilities are significantly stronger by the end of the Arrancar arc, even if they aren't as ridiculous as her powers in the 1000-Year Blood War arc. And if they're worried about her reversal ability, just give her a power-up and make the Shun Rika Tsubaki a finisher. Then have her normal attacks be hand-to-hand combat with her shield abilities, blocking opponent attacks, and Tsubaki being used for simpler attacks. And while it might sound silly to you, just keep in mind realism doesn't matter in this game or fighting games in general. Every character can tank sword slashes like it's nothing, so who cares? If you really didn't want to make her playable, then at the very least she should have been a support character like how Nemu is for Mayuri. Now let's talk about Jushiro. He should have been an easy addition. Just give him his Shikai and let him do one massive slash as a finisher for the reversal technique. During normal combat, he can just attack with his Zanpakuto without releasing its power. On top of that, he knows Kido, so he has more than enough combat ability to be in this game. The excuse that his abilities remain hidden is nonsense because this game already changes things from the anime, well, telling the story itself, when it feels like it. A simple example of how they don't follow the story relates to Izuru Kira. His Zanpakuto Wabisuke doesn't actually double people's weight on every hit, so his entire playstyle isn't accurate. But he's in the game, so there's really no excuse why Jushiro can't be. If that's really the concern, then just take an earlier approach and make him a fighter based on what he has already shown. And if they weren't going to make him playable, then at the very least he should have been a support character for Shunsui so you can at least reenact the battle against Stark. There's always a way to make things work, but for some reason they didn't even try. While I do respect the effort they put into the game, and I respect their passion as well, these excuses are weak, and if fans have to wait for a sequel to get these characters, then we're looking at a 2 to 3 year wait, which is absolute nonsense. Also, the article doesn't discuss any other potential DLC characters like Yamichika, Baragon, Aisin, or the Vizards. What's going on with this game? Hopefully they fix these issues with future DLC because as it stands, the roster is a mix of great choices and absolutely baffling omissions. Either way, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with their reasoning, or do you think these explanations are as ridiculous as I do? Make sure to tune in when the game comes out because I will be streaming it live on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.